Mr. Narasimhan, after you grew double digit in 2023, you confirmed the middle term outlook of sales growth of 5%. Do you expect the business to slow down then?
When you look at our dynamics right now, we have very strong growth drivers in the market. We had 10 positive phase 3 studies in 2023, and that allows us for our underlying business to continue to grow double digit. However, in 2024, we have a few products that you lose exclusivity, primarily products called Tasigna, Promacta, as well as Sandostatin, and that brings down our growth rate. That said, on average, we think we'll be 5% over the next 5 years, which puts us in the top quartile of our industry peers.
You emphasize once again the four therapeutic areas. How much room is there for promising therapies in other areas? Doesn't such a concentration bear some risks of missing out?
One of the things we've learned in our transformation is by bringing a lot of focus to four core therapeutic areas, we see much stronger growth and much stronger R&D performance. So we think that's the right strategy. That said, we still invest 10 to 15% of our research dollars in other areas outside of those four core therapeutic areas. And we also leave space for coming into new areas. If you look at our pipeline now and portfolio, we enter into kidney diseases with a number of new launches in kidney disease, which is a new area for Novartis. So we'll kind of find the right balance between being focused on four areas, but open to new opportunities as they arise.
There's an ongoing concern about the patent cliffs you mentioned. So how can you address those concerns, and how do you plan to manage those cliffs and boost growth in the future?
We feel confident given the performance we're seeing right now in our in-market growth drivers, products like Kisqali, like Kesimpta, like Pluvicto, that we have a very strong base of medicines that are currently growing through the rest of this decade. And then, as I mentioned, 10 positive phase 3 trials, which will allow us to have a new wave of launches over the middle of this decade. And so we feel very good that internally we have what it takes to grow in this mid-single digit range, not only for the next 5 years, but into the 2030s. We also will selectively look at M&A, bolt-on M&As where possible, which we think will bring in certain products that either strengthen our TAs or strengthen our technology areas that we think are in focus for the company. And doing those two things together should position us well for the decade to come.
There were lately some reports on Novartis being interested in buying cytokinetics for up to $10 billion US. Are bigger acquisitions one of the options you're looking at to rejuvenate your pipeline in advance of the cliff?
So we look at all opportunities, of course, with respect to M&A, but our primary focus is in the sub $5 billion bolt-on M&A space. When we look at 2023, we did approximately 15 deals. Total value of all of those deals was around $6 billion. The largest deal we conducted was a $3 billion acquisition of Chinook Therapeutics for a portfolio of kidney disease medicines. That's where we think there's the biggest opportunity for Novartis to create value for shareholders and for patients and society is in this bolt-on range, and that's where we'll focus for the years to come.
And with the rise of GLP-1 in fighting obesity, a lot of pharma companies are now looking into this market, which seems to be big enough for multiple players. Are you planning to be one of those players? And if yes, what does it take to become one?
The obesity market is certainly growing rapidly. And of course, we're watching that and keenly thinking about what would be the right approach towards this market. That said, our core focus is on areas where we think we have an opportunity to bring novel medicines first or best in class to patients. So if you look at areas like radioligand therapy, where we have Pluvicto and Lutathera, and where we invest heavily to be the leader in bringing this technology to cancer patients, or as I mentioned, trying to be the leader in kidney diseases with a number of new medicines, and kidney diseases are also very important for cardiovascular disease and obesity. So we don't want to follow, quote unquote, follow the herd on obesity, rather to say, let's focus on areas where we have a new approach or a novel technology that can make a difference. Now, in our research labs, we are evaluating novel approaches to obesity, trying to see if there's something different we could add to the equation beyond the GLP-1 and GIP-1 medicines that are currently being marketed. And that's, I think, how we'll approach this going forward.
You're leading Novartis now for 6 years, and you've transformed it quite a lot. Also, the recent spin-off of Sandoz was one of the last big steps in focusing Novartis. Are you happy now, or is it time to, look for new challenges? You've achieved everything you wanted.
Look, I'm really happy with how Novartis had a great 2023, and I think the transformation is positioning the company well for the future. I think we have the right setup now, focus on R&D, and I'm really excited and energized for the next few years to do what I love, which is to discover new medicines and hopefully transform whole areas of the future care of patients. And so now having that ability to really focus on new technologies, new medicines is super exciting. And that's where I'm really looking forward to in the next few years.